What if I told you that one of the most dangerous rivalries in the world is not officially declared as a war, and yet it has shaped the Middle East for decades? No signed declaration, no tanks crossing borders in a traditional invasion, but assassinations, cyber warfare, missile strikes, drone swarms, proxy militias, air raids, intelligence operations. This is not a Cold War. This is not a simple political disagreement. This is the long, complex, and deeply strategic confrontation between Iran and Israel. And in recent years, especially from 2023 onward, the shadow conflict that defined the rivalry has stepped closer than ever to open war. To understand how we reached this moment, we need to rewind history, because this story did not begin with rockets or nuclear tensions. It began with a revolution. Before 1979, Iran and Israel were not sworn enemies. Under the rule of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, Iran quietly maintained diplomatic and economic ties with Israel. They cooperated in trade and intelligence. Both nations viewed rising Arab nationalism and Soviet influence as potential threats. Their relationship was pragmatic, strategic, and largely discreet. Then came the turning point. The Iranian Revolution overthrew the Shah and replaced the monarchy with an Islamic republic. Led by Ruhollah Khomeini, the revolution fundamentally reshaped Iran's identity politically, religiously, and strategically. Israel was no longer viewed as a regional partner. It was labeled an illegitimate entity. Supporting the Palestinian cause became central to Iran's foreign policy doctrine. Opposition to Israel became embedded in revolutionary ideology. From Israel's perspective, this transformation created a long-term strategic challenge. A powerful regional state had shifted from quiet cooperation to open hostility, and it was motivated not just by politics, but by religious and ideological conviction. Over time, this rivalry evolved into something far more sophisticated than direct war. Iran developed a strategy built on asymmetric warfare. Rather than confronting Israel head-on with conventional armies, Iran began expanding influence through regional networks. The most significant of these networks emerged in Lebanon with Hezbollah. Formed in the early 1980s, Hezbollah grew into a powerful political and military force, backed financially, logistically, and militarily by Tehran. It developed a massive arsenal of rockets and missiles capable of reaching deep into Israeli territory. This created what Israeli strategists often describe as a northern threat axis. In Gaza, Hamas also received Iranian support at different periods, including funding, training, and weapons technology. Though political tension sometimes affected their relationship, the broader strategic alignment remained focused on opposing Israel. Then there is the powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, commonly known as the IRGC, beyond defending Iran. Domestically, the IRGC plays a major role in projecting influence abroad. Its Quds Force Division has operated in Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, strengthening allied militias and building logistical corridors across the region. To Israel, this appears as encirclement. To Iran, it is deterrence. The idea is simple but powerful. If Israel were ever to strike Iran directly, allied groups surrounding Israel could respond immediately, opening multiple fronts. But this rivalry didn't remain confined to rockets and proxy forces. It expanded into intelligence and cyber domains. Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad, has been widely associated with covert operations targeting Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Over the years, several Iranian nuclear scientists were assassinated. Explosions and sabotage incidents occurred at sensitive facilities. Tehran publicly blamed Israel for many of these actions. At the same time, cyber warfare became a defining feature of this conflict. One of the most famous cases was the Stuxnet malware attack, which disrupted Iranian nuclear centrifuges, though never officially confirmed by all parties. It is widely believed to have involved Israeli coordination with Western intelligence. This was warfare without uniforms, without public acknowledgement, without battlefield cameras, yet the impact was real. At the heart of this entire rivalry lies one central issue: Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists that its nuclear development is peaceful, focused on energy production and scientific advancement. Israel strongly disputes this claim, arguing that a nuclear-capable Iran would fundamentally threaten Israeli national security. In 2015, diplomatic efforts led to the agreement, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The deal aimed to limit Iran's uranium enrichment in exchange for sanctions relief. For a time, It reduced tensions, but deep mistrust persisted. As political shifts occurred and the agreement weakened, Israel increased its campaign of airstrikes against Iranian-linked targets in Syria. These strikes were designed to prevent advanced missile transfers to Hezbollah and limit Iranian military entrenchment near Israel's borders. Iran responded indirectly, maintaining pressure through its regional partners. Militarily, both countries possess formidable capabilities, though in very different forms. Israel has one of the most technologically advanced militaries in the world. Its air force is highly sophisticated, equipped with cutting-edge aircraft and precision-guided munitions. Its layered missile defense systems, including Iron Dome, David Sling, and Arrow, provide protection against short, medium, and long-range threats. Israel is also widely believed to possess nuclear capabilities. Though it maintains a policy of deliberate ambiguity, Iran, by contrast, has invested heavily in ballistic missiles and drone technology. It has developed missile systems capable of reaching Israeli territory. Its drone program has expanded significantly, providing cost-effective strike options and reconnaissance capabilities. Despite economic sanctions, Iran prioritized military self-reliance and indigenous production. Economically, the two nations differ significantly. Israel has a diversified, innovation-driven economy with strong global trade ties and advanced research institutions. It benefits from strategic alliances and high GDP per capita. Iran faces economic pressure due to long-term sanctions. Inflation and currency instability have impacted domestic conditions. However, Iran has a large population, significant natural resources, and a strong education base in engineering and science that supports its defense industry. The political systems of both countries further shape their strategies. Israel is a parliamentary democracy led by elected governments, including leaders such as Benjamin Netanyahu. Military decisions are subject to cabinet approval, political debate, and public scrutiny. Iran operates as an Islamic republic in which ultimate authority rests with the supreme leader, currently Ali Khamenei. Strategic decisions, especially regarding national security, are deeply influenced by religious authority and the IRGC. These contrasting systems influence how each side calculates risk. The most dramatic escalation in recent history occurred after the events of 2023 in Gaza. Regional tensions surged. Hezbollah and Israeli forces exchanged fire along the Lebanese border. Iranian-backed militias increased activity. Then, in 2024, the conflict crossed a significant threshold. Iran launched a large-scale drone and missile attack directly toward Israeli territory in response to strikes attributed to Israel. Israel, supported by allied defensive systems, intercepted the majority of incoming threats. This marked a historic moment, a direct exchange between the two states. Although full-scale war did not follow, the psychological barrier had been broken. The confrontation was no longer purely indirect. Since then, the region has remained tense. Airstrikes continue intermittently, intelligence operations persist. Diplomatic negotiations over nuclear development remain uncertain. Why has full war not erupted? Because both sides understand the cost. A direct war could ignite multiple fronts simultaneously. Hezbollah in Lebanon could unleash tens of thousands of rockets. Militias in Syria and Iraq could join the fight. Gaza could become another battleground. Regional trade routes could be disrupted. Oil markets could surge dramatically, affecting the global economy. Major world powers could become involved. This reality creates deterrence. Israel seeks to prevent Iran from crossing nuclear thresholds. Iran seeks to expand influence while avoiding catastrophic retaliation. Both test limits carefully. Both signal strength publicly. Both avoid irreversible escalation. Some analysts argue Israel holds the qualitative military edge due to technology and air superiority. Others argue Iran's network of regional alliances gives it strategic depth and flexibility. The truth lies somewhere in between. This rivalry is not static. It adapts. It evolves. It shifts between visible confrontation and silent operations. It is a strategic chess match played across borders, ideologies, and generations. And perhaps the most dangerous element is uncertainty. One miscalculation. One intercepted strike gone wrong. One retaliation that exceeds expectations. History shows that prolonged shadow conflicts can suddenly transform into open wars. Yet for now, a fragile balance remains. The confrontation between Iran and Israel represents more than a bilateral dispute. It reflects deeper questions about regional dominance, ideological identity, security doctrine, and the future balance of power in the Middle East. Will diplomatic engagement eventually ease tensions? Will nuclear negotiations be revived in a sustainable way? Or will the cycle of deterrence and retaliation continue indefinitely? The world watches closely, because what happens between these two nations has consequences far beyond their borders. Energy markets, global security alliances, regional stability, international diplomacy. All are influenced by this rivalry, and as technology advances, drones become smarter, missiles faster, cyber tools more sophisticated. The margin for error grows smaller. So the ultimate question remains, is this confrontation destined to stay contained within calculated boundaries, or are we witnessing the slow build-up toward something much larger? Only time will answer that. But one thing is certain. The shadow war between Iran and Israel is one of the defining geopolitical struggles of our era, and it is far from over. If you found this deep analysis valuable, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more detailed geopolitical breakdowns. And now I want to hear from you. Do you believe diplomacy will prevail, or will tensions eventually explode in a full-scale war? Let me know your thoughts below. Because sometimes history doesn't repeat itself quietly. Sometimes it builds and waits.